Okay. Yes, yep.
Hi friends, welcome back.
I went to make a sandwich and we're out of mayonnaise. So the last time we made mayonnaise, I think a couple people asked how did we make it.
Yeah, we posted a picture of it on the final result on Instagram and it turned out the
Amazing.
texture was awesome, and like 2 or 3 people asked us, hey, do you have a video on that? We're out of mayonnaise, you want a sandwich, people want a video, here's a quick one on how we made our mayonnaise.
But I will say we're adjusting it just a little bit because he wants to change the mustard he used. So it's not going to be exactly the same. And I told him don't play with it too much because I loved it last time.
Yeah, last time we just used a normal, like a plain yellow mustard like you would put on a hot dog. This time we're going to use more of a whole grain brown mustard. And we're going to put less salt this time too, because last time it was pretty salty.
Really salty, yeah.
So let's get started. We'll show you what we need for ingredients and equipment first, and then we'll get to making. So the core ingredient behind any mayonnaise is going to be eggs. For our recipe, we use 3 eggs. We almost reduced it down to 2 this time because we're not sure if 3 is necessary, but we're gonna stick with what worked the first time. So 3 eggs, you want them to be room temperature. You do not want to use eggs that came right out of your refrigerator. Make sure they're room temperature. We left these out overnight, so it would be ready for us today. The next component is going to be oil. You can use straight olive oil, you can use sunflower oil, you can use avocado oil, different oils. Just keep in mind some of them have a really strong flavor when they're really concentrated like this. So what we're using today is we're going to use half olive oil and half sunflower oil. And what we've measured off is 1 cup of each for a total of 2 cups of oil. A little pinch of salt to taste. Don't overdo it, especially if you have some potent salt like this pink Himalayan sea salt that we use. You don't need much, maybe that much or so. And some mustard. We're going to use Ingelhofer's original stone ground mustard. Should give it a nice flavor. Equipment wise, the only other thing you're really going to need is a blender of some sort. We're using our Vitamix, but you don't necessarily have to have something this fancy. Just about any blender will do as long as you can get some good speed out of it. Hey friends, quick update for you here. One of the items from this recipe that I did not include during the initial filming of this video was adding lemon juice to your mayonnaise. It's definitely something that you're going to want to add. Add it when you add the salt in the next step. Quantity wise, go for about 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. That should give your mayonnaise some nice bite. It'll give it that zing. You'll know it's mayonnaise when you taste it. Some people will also substitute apple cider vinegar or white wine vinegar. So play around with those 3 things. Figure out which one gives you the mayonnaise you like. Some people are picky about their mayonnaise. Figure out which one gives you the flavor profile you like and enjoy. All right, we're trying something new as far as a shooting angle today, so hopefully this works out for us and this doesn't shake around too much. So the first thing we're going to do is put our eggs. No shells, good to go. We're going to blend this up and get it nice and frothy, because what you want to have happen, so the whole concept, I guess, if we rewind a little bit while I put this lid on, the whole concept behind mayonnaise is to form an emulsification. So what happens is when you blend up the eggs, they get really frothy. You're familiar with that, I'm sure. And what happens is the molecules of egg, the space between the molecules gets bigger. Once we get it to that point where it's nice and fluffy, that's when you start adding oil. And you have to add the oil slow. To add 2 cups of oil, it's going to take about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes to add that much oil, because you want to add it slow. Because what's happening is as the oil is going in and the blender's running, the oil gets stuck between the molecules of the egg and forms what you know as mayonnaise or a paste, or it thickens. So if you do it too fast, the molecules of oil can't get in between the molecules of egg fast enough, and it'll break and you'll have half egg and half oil. You want it to blend together and emulsify and become one single piece. So we're going to start this off on low. probably do this with the lid off for a little while so you can see what's happening. Maybe not. Yep, that looks good, nice and frothy. Next thing we're going to do is add our salt, about a little pinch, and a squirt of mustard. And I'm not going to measure my mustard, I'm just going to put in a squirt. And the next step is adding the oil.
Will you blend that first or no?
Yeah, we're going to blend it with, we're going to kick this back on, we're going to let it run, we're going to come up to a good speed. We'll pull this little lid off, and it's going to be loud, so we're either going to speed this part up because it's going to take probably 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll get it up to speed. Make sure all that mustard and the mustard seeds and everything get blended in properly. And then we'll start adding the oil. See, it's already starting to get nice and thick. And that's that. So it gets a little messy. Nothing we can't deal with. You'll notice as you're adding the oil, the sound of the blender mixing the egg and the oil mixture is going to change. It's going to start off as a high-pitched sound, and the more oil, the more closer you get to adding all your oil, the sound is going to change. It's going to become deeper. It's going to sound more thuddy. It may start going thump, 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 where it's actually starting to catch. Yeah, this turned out seems like a pretty good texture. When you first make it, it's going to be room temperature, so it's going to be warm, and it may not feel, you may feel like this isn't right. This isn't as thick as it should be. This is runny. Once you put it in a jar and you stick it in your fridge overnight, it'll really firm up, and it'll do that where you take your serrated knife to spread on your sandwich and you cut through the mayonnaise and you see the little teeth marks. That'll actually happen once it's refrigerated and cooled. So let's switch ourselves back around and wrap this up.
So unfortunately the camera just locked up on us after I made a sandwich with the mayonnaise for you guys to see. But one of the things I was pointing out was while it is a little runnier right now, like Todd mentioned, once you have it in the fridge for 24 hours, it's going to be the thickest, most amazing, almost cuttable mayonnaise. I made a sandwich with it. I really, really like it.
Tastes good?
Yeah, I love it. We're using our raw goat's milk cheddar cheese that we bought this last weekend from that People's Food Co-op. I actually like the stone ground mustard in it. It's a very nice flavor. Not overly mustardy at all.
So hopefully I explained this process well enough that any one of you with a blender and a couple eggs and some oil and some mustard can make your own mayonnaise. If you're worried, if you're scared, take your time, go slow, especially with the oil. It took me about 5 minutes to add 2 cups of oil to the 3 cups of eggs. Mm-hmm. So if you find, you're done in 60 seconds, you probably went too fast, and what's going to happen is your oil and your egg aren't going to mix together properly, and it's going to break. It's going to separate. You're going to end up with half egg, half oil, and it's not going to be mixed, and it's going to be not mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So go slow, take your time. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to try to answer any questions you might have or help people out if they get stuck or if they're confused or if I didn't explain everything well enough.
Right. One last point is shelf life on this. Most recipes say shelf life is by shelf life, refrigerator life, 7 to 10 days. The last batch we made, I will be honest, I used it up to 3 weeks. I used it till we were done with it, and it was still fine. So use your own judgment. 7 to 10 days is the recommendation. So we just need to make more chicken salad and more yummy sandwiches.
You did make chicken salad.
I did.
The last time I made mayonnaise, and then it was really good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, I am Rachel.
And I am Todd.
And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.